Hello everyone, today we are breaking down Season 3, Episode 3, Reunion of The Witcher. But before that, remember to like the video, it helps out the channel a lot, and subscribe, and yada yada yada, let's get to it. The first thing we see is Geralt introducing Jaskier to fake Ciri. Fake Ciri is muttering to herself and overall looks very unstable. Whoever Rience's boss has done some serious work to the girl with his experiments. Geralt's plan is to bring the girl to Annika, who is a druid that should be able to break the enchantment or spell on fake Ciri. Druids are like mages but don't have a formal education at Aretuza or Banard. They don't really care for politics and are much more in tune to nature than a regular mage. Geralt and Jaskier bring the girl to Annika. She has another house guest as well, Otto. While Annika is checking over the girl, we find out that Otto is a werewolf and he and Geralt have met before. In the books, this event would take place somewhere between the first and second book, so it's hard to say when it takes place during the show. But anyways, Geralt was hired to kill him, but instead he found a cure to save his life. He wears that cure around his neck. This staves off him transforming into a werewolf. Would have been pretty cool to see this in the show, but what can you do? This is another example of Geralt proving that Witchers have feelings and care for things, because if he didn't, he would have just killed the beast. Geralt asks Annika how she and Otto met. Annika says they were both at the Temple of Truth mourning. Otto mourning for his family who had just died, and Annika mourning for Visenna, Geralt's mother. That is how Geralt knows Annika. Her and his mother were friends. Geralt is taken aback by this, not knowing this news. You have to remember, Geralt and his mother didn't really keep up with one another. She basically abandoned him when he was young. Annika figures out what happened to the girl, a mind control enchantment. She says it's extremely powerful and uses elements from a bunch of different sources. Whoever did this is a very powerful mage. This is basically what we have been being told all season, that Rience has a powerful mage backing him. They are going to use an extraction elixir. This should hopefully cure the girl, and she'll be able to tell them who did this. We are now at Gorse Velen with Ciri and Yennefer. This is a port city of the Kingdom of Temeria. They are at a dwarven bank. Yennefer has come here to take care of some business, but alone. She is sending Ciri with Fabio, a worker at the bank, to show her around town. Yennefer puts a locator spell on a talisman. She tells Ciri that if she gets into any trouble, to repeat the spell while holding it, and Yen can find her. We are now at Redania with King Vizimir, Dijkstra, Philippa, and Radovid. Vizimir is playing a game while Dijkstra is trying to talk to him. King Vizimir had a secret meeting with Nilfgaard without letting his advisors know about it. This makes Dijkstra nervous. Vizimir is a bit of a putz. This could be bad for Redania and himself. His job could be in jeopardy. Vizimir tells them that he and Nilfgaard made a deal. When Nilfgaard decides to push north, they leave Redania alone, and Redania will get half of Temeria as a vassal state. Also, if they find Ciri first, they hand her over to Nilfgaard. Dijkstra is very upset hearing this news. He even has a loud outburst telling him he is being conned. Vizimir does not want to hear it though. He says he is king and he makes the decisions. So there seems to be some turmoil in Redania. Dijkstra wants Vizimir to be the face of the kingdom, but nothing more. He wants to make all the decisions. A servant comes in to inform Vizimir Nilfgaard is back. He goes off to say hello. Dijkstra and Philippa are walking down a hallway. Dijkstra is furious about what just occurred. They stop at a corner and Radovid is clearly in view of them, but they continue their conversation. They don't even try whispering. Like Radovid, if he wanted, could go to his brother Vizimir and tell him what he heard and have the two executed. Philippa believes Queen Hedwig is convincing King Vizimir to do these things and that maybe she can be useful in another way. They also talk about how Geralt is close to finding out where Rience is, and if he kills him before they do, they won't get Ciri. Remember, Jaskier has made a deal with Philippa and Dijkstra. If they can get rid of Rience, he will give them Ciri. We are back with Yennefer. We see the business that she has to take care of. It is a meeting with her former teacher, Tisea de Vries. At first, it seems like this is going to be a place for Yennefer to apologize to Tisea for betraying the Brotherhood and setting the Nilfgaard prisoner free, but Yen flips it on its head. She accuses Tisea of finding out about Ciri and letting the Northern Kings know about it to curry favor with them, because you have to remember that most thought Ciri died during the slaughter of Cintra, but in the last year many groups have been after the girl. Yennefer also says that the northern kingdoms are focused on the wrong thing because of her. They should not be focused on Ciri but on Nilfgaard, who will destroy them all. Tissaia is pretty angry hearing this, that Yen would lecture her about northern unity when she released a Nilfgaard prisoner. I mean, she does have a point. After Yen released the prisoner, the northern kingdoms stopped listening to their mages, which in turn has caused a lot of death. Yennefer apologizes to Tissaia for the mess she has made. She then asks for Tissaia's help with Ciri to help hide her. Tissaia really does not want to, but Yen convinces her, saying Ciri can help lead the kingdoms out of war and that she is extraordinary. She has the right to learn what she can do, and the only way for that to happen is if she studies at Aretuza. Tissaia becomes a bit teary-eyed, saying, "After all your searching, you finally did it. Become a mother." If you recall from season 1 of The Witcher, Yennefer was obsessed with becoming a mother. As many of you know, mages can't have children, so it seemed impossible for Yen. But with Ciri, she has accomplished that season 1 goal. We are now with Fabio and Ciri. Fabio is handing out brochures for the bank while Ciri is eating some donuts and watching in amusement. Ciri sees some paintings of a tower on an island. She asks Fabio what this place is. He says it is Thanedd Island, which is the home of Aretuza, which is the mage school. The reason Ciri recognizes it is because she has been having visions of said place. So she is not sure what those visions mean though. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? It is the place she and Yen are heading for, so she kinda wants to know. Fabio continues by saying that legend has it that they take failing students to the caves below and turn them into eels. Ciri has a bit of a worried look on her face. We know from season 1 that is what happens, but they have never told us why. So hopefully we get a reason. Because in the books, people who don't make it as a mage just leave. Many become healers or become very successful in another trade. It is still school and they teach a lot of useful info. So I'm very curious what the eels mean. We are now with Istredd. He has grown his hair out, which is a choice, to say the least. Another person meets him at a bar somewhere in the kingdom of Nilfgaard. She's grabbing texts and books for him from the Cintra library. Istredd is trying to learn all he can about the former elven kingdoms before the conjunction, Elder Blood, and monoliths. The girl didn't bring a specific book that he wanted though about monoliths. Apparently the book was sent to Aretuza, so that is where he will be heading. We are now at Cintra with Cahir and Gallatin. They are here to meet Emperor Emhyr and tell them about their plan to kick Francesca to the curb and have Gallatin lead the elves. Gallatin tells Emhyr how Francesca is using valuable men to search for a girl instead of doing what they are supposed to be doing, which is to weaken the north. Emhyr knows that the girl he speaks of is Ciri. Remember, there are not a lot of people who know that Ciri is his daughter. Gallatin leaves the room and Cahir and Emhyr discuss this. Cahir believes he can find Ciri and wants another chance. Emhyr tells Cahir that he had no pleasure in punishing him. Remember that Cahir lied to the Emperor last season, which is why he was demoted and forced to attack caravans. But he still does not know if he can trust him or not. Cahir will have to prove his loyalty. We are now back with Jaskier and Geralt. They are waiting around for fake Ciri to wake up. Geralt wants to know what Philippa and Dijkstra wanted from him. Yarpen told Geralt that he saw Jaskier talking to them. Geralt knows those two's reputation and it wasn't just a friendly chat. Jaskier confesses and tells him that they wanted him to convince Geralt to give Ciri to Redania. And Jaskier agrees with them that she would be the safest there. Geralt knows all they want is the Cintra throne and for Ciri to have children. And Jaskier says yes, because that is what a princess does. And Ciri wants this as well. She wants to rule kingdoms and be queen. Now, I can't remember Ciri ever saying this specifically from the books or TV show. I guess she kind of says it in the first episode that she wants to lead, but if you guys can remember anything from previous seasons, let me know. Geralt says they will try to stay neutral, but Jaskier says there are consequences to that as well. People like fake Ciri are getting hurt because of this. Geralt hears Jaskier say source and gets an idea. He goes to wake up fake Ciri. We find out that fake Ciri's name is Terran, that she was dragged from her room at Aretuza. So my hunch was correct that the missing students were being used in these experiments by Rience's employer. Taryn goes on and says Rience was sometimes there and a woman with a funny voice. She says that the man who employs both these people was a mage at Aretuza. Before she can give a name, she starts to freak out a bit. Then it seems that the mage behind all this controls her, and basically trolls Geralt and tells him he is doomed. She tries to escape using some magic, but is caught again and is put back to sleep, not before she knocks Annika out though. We return to Ciri and Fabio. They are going to enter a tent to see a live basilisk, which we actually saw at the end of season 2 of The Witcher. They are part of the Dracnoid family and have poisonous breath, and they are rather large, as you can see. The man in charge gets on stage and pulls the tarp off the cage so the people can see the monster. He starts going into this whole spiel of how dangerous they are and whatnot, but Ciri speaks up and says that is not a basilisk. It is actually a wyvern. They are also part of the Dracnoid family. This is a baby one as well. Ciri and the monster handler get into an argument about it. The man tries to take a swing at Ciri. She easily dodges it and he accidentally lets the wyvern out. It gets very chaotic and Ciri kills the wyvern with assistance from this lady. Ciri gets up saying that the knight is the one who actually saved everyone, not her, and people believe it. The whole sequence for the most part is from the books. I would have liked to have seen this place more crowded because literally everyone saw Ciri kill it. She was the only one near it. Obviously, Ciri is supposed to keep a low profile and killing a monster is not doing that. Ciri and Fabio leave. She is wondering what happened to her money, and we see the girl who helped her out actually stole it from her in the beginning of the scene when she bumps into her. This girl is part of the Rats, which we will find out either next season or at the end of this season. Ciri leaves Fabio and grabs the talisman and activates the locator spell to get Yen. Ciri runs into Margarita Losentila, who is a mage and the new rectress at Aretuza. She believes Ciri is a novice who ran away, but Yen comes and explains what is happening. Sabrina is also here as well. She is also a mage and she and Yen have a bit of a rivalry. Tissaia is right behind Yen and gets her first look at Ciri. She tells Ciri to look her in the eyes. They stare at one another. For some reason, Tissaia's eyes start to bleed. I guess that's because Ciri is just that powerful. It's most likely something like that, at least. The mages all head towards a bathhouse. The mages are very drunk. They are basically just gossiping and whatnot. Margarita wants more to drink and tells Ciri to fetch the wine. She basically just complains about Ciri then for the next 15 seconds. And Ciri gets fed up and tells her off. Yennefer gets up to have a talk with Ciri about her attitude. Ciri tells Yen that she does not want to be a part of Aretuza. It is full of terrible people, and Yen basically says, yeah, she doesn't either. She doesn't want to apologize to the Brotherhood of Sorcerers for releasing a prisoner, but she will because that is the only way to get Ciri into Aretuza, so she will be safe. Ciri does not like what Yennefer is becoming. She says she is selling her soul, and that Geralt would never change his morals. Yen leaves Ciri in the cellar alone. We are back with Geralt. Annika wakes up from being knocked out. The two start talking about Geralt's mother and how she died. She was mistaken for an elf and was beaten. She would later die from those injuries. Geralt says he just wanted her to know what she did to him, giving him away to the Witchers. Annika says love for a child forces parents to make the hardest choices of their lives. So this is kind of what we've been seeing this episode with Yennefer and Ciri. Yen does not want to apologize to Aretuza, but has to because it is what is best for Ciri. Geralt is also kind of in the same boat, with Jaskier wanting him to give Ciri to Redania because it is what is best for her. But Geralt knows what it is like to be abandoned, like what his mother did to him, and he will not abandon Ciri. He is going to Aretuza to meet up with her and Yen. We are back with Tissaia and Yen. Yennefer took Ciri's words to heart. She tells Tissaia that they should have a conclave with the Brotherhood of Sorcerers, which is basically just a meeting. Get everyone back on the right path and get everyone united. Because then they can get the Northern Kingdoms united so they can focus on the real threat, Nilfgaard. Ciri sneaks out of the bathhouse. She does not want to be a part of this. She is going to find Geralt wherever he is. Now you may be asking, how is she going to find him? But you have to remember that Ciri is his child surprise. They are drawn to one another. We are with King Vizimir and Dijkstra, and they are having dinner. Vizimir is basically telling Dijkstra why he is done with trying to find Ciri, that it is too complicated, this is just easier. Radovid brings in a chest saying Nilfgaard left this for Vizimir. They open the box and the queen's head is inside. Vizimir is crying and very sad. He leaves the room. Radovid knows Dijkstra and Philippa are behind this. Radovid threatens to expose them, but he really has no proof. Dijkstra tells him to shut it, and even suggests he may have something to do with this tragedy. He then says if he doesn't be quiet, that next time maybe his head is the one in the box. We're now with Rience and Lydia. You may recall that Lydia had an accident last season when she smelled the Witcher brew that had Ciri's blood in it. Her face has become disfigured. She doesn't really have much of a jaw anymore, so she uses telepathy to communicate with people, and her face is an illusion, so she can still look like what she used to. We find out their employer is working with Nilfgaard, so Emhyr really has all the bases covered to get his daughter back. We're back with Cahir and Gallatin. They are in his room, and Cahir kills Gallatin, so this is what Emhyr asked him to do to regain his trust, to kill a friend. We are back with Ciri, and she is riding a horse looking for Geralt. The Wild Hunt starts chasing after her, telling her to join them, that she is death itself. Geralt shows up behind her and starts using the sign Ard to get rid of the Wild Hunt's spectral forms. Ard is a telekinetic thrust that can send opponents backwards. The Wild Hunt wants Ciri because she can control the monoliths. She's the only one that can return them back to their home, and also to conquer other worlds. Geralt and Ciri embrace after that scary moment. They see that a piece of one of the riders from the Wild Hunt has fallen off and is in their world. Meaning that wasn't just their spectral forms, they can now interact with this world. And that is the end of episode 3, season 3 of The Witcher. I will say this much about this episode, it was very rushed. I would prefer scenes to drag on a bit compared to what we got, but what can you do? Anyways, what did you think of the episode? Leave it down in the comments below, and if you want more Witcher content, please subscribe and like the video. Check out the Twitter link in the description below, and as always, have an awesome day.